Dash, a sort of ostrich from Timbuctoo, by Roger Hargreaves. Dash was a sort of ostrich, a Timbuctoo ostrich. He lived in Turbo Cottage in the Serengeti of Timbuctoo. As you know, ostriches are the fastest flightless birds in the world. And Dash certainly is one of the fastest animals in Timbuctoo, as is his good friend Speed, a sort of cheetah. Now this story is all about the time when it was autumn in Timbuctoo. Dash's alarm clock went off, and he was out of bed like a cork out of a bottle. He rushed around making his bed, washing his face and cleaning his teeth, and then he hurried downstairs 3 at a time. He then prepared his breakfast. He had 2 boiled eggs and a cup of tea for breakfast. Well, actually, it was half cooked, and he only ate half of it because he was in such a rush. Then he looked outside his window and said, rather quickly, "Oh, the leaves are falling, it's over already, I better hurry up and do something!" And then he thought, I think I'll paint my house a brand new colour, I think I can do it, sprucing up. It was then that he rushed off to the home improvement store and bought some turquoise paint so he could paint his house with it. He was zipping around like greased lightning, using his paint roller, when who should come flying along but Swoop, who was a sort of clumsy flying squirrel. Swoop wasn't looking where he was going, and he flew slap bang straight into the front door of Turbo Cottage. "Crikey!" he exclaimed. "That's smart!" Then he saw Dash decorating his house. "G'day, Dash!" he greeted. "Do you have a minute to spare?" "No, not at all, not even a nanosecond, I can't even stop, I'm in too much of a hurry," replied Dash quickly. "Maybe you could use a lending hand," suggested Swoop. Dash didn't even bother to reply, when Swoop picked up the paint pot and then he accidentally dropped it on the ground, spilling the paint all over the grass. Dash was down the ladder in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, cleaning it up and then buying another paint pot. "Why don't you blow on the paint to dry it off? That usually works wonders," he suggested to Swoop. "Bonza, mate!" agreed Swoop. But try as he might, Swoop's breath wasn't strong enough to dry the paint. "I don't think I'll ever get this done," thought Dash. Then he had a quick idea. "Unless if you could do me a massive favour, Swoop, you could buy me a CD of Squawk's Greatest Hits. He's the #1 singer in Timbuctoo from what I've heard. Well, not in any form of media until now, but I hear the workings of musical rhythm might just get the job done," he suggested to Swoop. "Too right, mate. I'll get you that CD before you can say Johnny John Johnson, whoever that is," suggested Swoop. However, Dash got 97% of his house painted in no less than 1 minute and 4 seconds. Well, actually, if he hadn't met Swoop, it would have been 59 seconds. It was then that Flutter, a sort of talkative butterfly, was strolling along the lane when she saw Dash.
"Hi, Dash!"
she greeted playfully.
"How are you doing this cold day? You're painting your house, are you? That's lovely, just in time when the weather is colder and the leaves begin to fall and blow away in the breeze
And she went on and on and on. Dash then said, "Well, I wouldn't want to have the leaves blow all over my house, and that wouldn't suit it at all, really." Then Flutter said,
"I was wondering if I could have some hot chocolate to drink before I set off on my merry way to see Hank and tell him about the joys of the sun, sea, sand, and swimming, 'cause that's what he loves and..."
But Dash was already on it like a dart, and he brought out some hot chocolate for Flutter. Here you go, quickly, drink it up before he turns into an Iceland and you must so much of it! Urged Dash. Flutter looked at it and said,
Oh, I usually have a cookie to go with then. Nothing satisfies the taste buds on a cold day like cookies and hot chocolate, and furthermore.
And she went on and on and on. But again, Dash darted into his kitchen, seized a cookie from his jar and gave it to Flutter, and sent her on her way. And in less than a nanosecond, he'd finished painting his house. There we are, much better, but I'm still worried that it won't dry quickly and looks like cloudy by very soon, he said to himself. It was then that Swoop came gliding back with the CD of Squawk's greatest hits. G'day, Dash, he greeted again. I bought my CD player and the CD of Squawk's greatest hits. Have a gander at this, cobber! And he placed the CD inside his portable CD player and turned up the volume at full blast. But the volume was so loud, it produced a major shockwave, and Dash had to bury his head in the ground because of the terrible din. He demanded. So Swoop turned off the CD player, and when Dash raised his head from the ground, he couldn't believe his eyes. Oh no, my house is covered in these, I simply won't do it now, I have to spray it on my house all over again, he complained. Swoop looked at Dash, and then he looked at Turbo Cottage. Well, he said, I guess I'd better leave you alone.